Before I start, I want you to remember one number. The price of gas at the start of this war, $2.98. Today, $3.84. Now here's the question nobody is answering clearly. If the war ended tomorrow, and I mean literally tomorrow, when does that $2.98 come back? The honest answer will surprise you, and it should make you angry. Stay with me. Let's start with what we can actually see. Real numbers, not projections. Crude oil, up 39%. From the day the war started to today, crude went from the $1.60s straight to $93, $94, $101 a barrel. Diesel, up 38%, $5.06 a gallon nationally. And urea, the primary fertilizer used in agriculture, up 25%. Now you might be thinking, okay, gas is expensive, I get it. But here's what most people are missing. These three numbers are not three separate problems. They're one problem multiplying. Because expensive crude doesn't just mean expensive gas at the pump. Diesel moves your food from farms to supermarkets. Fertilizer grows the food before it even gets on the truck. So when all three go up at the same time, you feel it at the pump, you feel it at the checkout, you feel it everywhere. And you're already feeling it. Tell me in the comments, what has gone up in price for you personally since this started? I want to know what you're actually seeing. Here's the part that the news gave you in one sentence and moved on. Policy economists, people who model energy markets for a living, are putting a number on recovery time. 200 days. Even if the war ended tomorrow. Even if a ceasefire was signed tonight. Even if every missile stopped right now. 200 days before supply chains return where they were. Why? Think about what actually happened. Iran's oil and gas infrastructure bombed. Shut in. Not slowed down, shut in. And it's not just Iran. Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar. The same story across the region. You don't restart a bombed oil field like flipping a switch. The equipment has to be inspected. The pressure has to be rebuilt. The crews have to return. That alone takes months. Now, at the Strait of Hormuz, the single water passage that almost all of this oil moves through, every tanker that rerouted away from that strait is now on a longer journey. Those contracts have been rewritten, those schedules rebuilt, and 200 days from when this interview was recorded, that's roughly Halloween. Halloween, does that feel like a temporary blip to you? Because that's exactly what J.D. Vance called it, a temporary blip, and in the same breath, admitted, we know we have a problem. Both things said, out loud. Now here's where I want you to pay close attention. Because this part doesn't make the headlines. It's not just oil, fertilizer, urea, helium, jet fuels, semiconductors, medical imaging equipment. All of it locked in. That's the exact phrase used by the economist in this interview. Locked in. Let me show you what that actually means. Helium, the same helium in a birthday balloon, is used in semiconductor manufacturing. The same semiconductors in your phone, your laptop, your car. And helium supply routes run through this exact region. Medical imaging equipment, MRI machines, use helium for cooling. When helium gets disrupted, hospital operating costs go up. And you know who eventually pays that? Jet fuel's up, which means airline tickets up, which means every business that moves goods or people by air up. One choke point, one strait, and it reaches into your grocery bill, your medication costs, your technology, your flights. Here's my question for you, and I genuinely want to know, did you realize how many things were connected to this conflict before today? Drop it in the comments. Here's what I want to leave you with. Now let's talk about what the people making decisions actually know. A Quinnipiac poll taken in early March. On the economy, 39% approve of Trump's handling. 58% disapprove. On Iran specifically, 38% approve. 57% disapprove. These are not close numbers. And on the ground, a woman at a gas station in Pennsylvania told a reporter she called the president a name and called herself dumb for voting for him 3 times. That's not a political statement. That's what $3.84 a gallon does to people. Now, people close to the president, according to people who cover the White House directly, are acutely aware and acutely worried. The White House is, and I'm using the exact words here, desperately flailing, trying to build a coalition to secure the Strait of Hormuz. Because here is the core problem they cannot escape. The president does not have a clear way to end this war. And 2,000 to 2,500 Marines are headed to the region right now. They'll be there in 2 weeks. 2 weeks to get there. 200 days for your prices to recover. Those two timelines don't match. And the people making decisions know it. Before all of this started, inflation was coming down. Gas prices were falling. The economic direction was improving. That progress is now gone. And it's not coming back on a political timeline. It's coming back on an energy infrastructure timeline, a supply chain timeline, a 200-day timeline. So the next time someone calls this a temporary blip, ask them one question. Temporary compared to what? Compared to where gas was at $2.98 when this started, compared to a Halloween recovery. At best, the information was always there. Most people just weren't looking. Now you are. If this gave you something to think about, subscribe and tell me in the comments. Do you think peace ends the economic pain? Or what does the damage run deeper than that? I want to read every single answer.